anyone who cracks open a hardcover book of Major League Baseball in the 2020s, there's at least going to be a footnote on AJ Preller and what he has been doing and the ripple effect of how that has impacted the Athletics. I almost said Oakland. I'm going to go over their top 5, their strengths, their weaknesses, and I'll be throwing a few baseball philosophical questions your guys' way because multiple names that I am dropping were involved in the Mason Miller, JP Sears deal. Number 1, we all know this one, right? Leo DeVries, shortstop, ETA this year. Number 3 prospect in all of baseball per MLB.com right now. And the 2025 MLB trade deadline, as if he wasn't a big enough name already, only upped his popularity. DeVries, it was a part of that return package from the Padres again in exchange for one of the best closers in the game in Mason Miller. He's one of the most complete talents in baseball as well, and a rare prospect that you can truly claim has 5-tool player upside. There are a couple of tools that are yet to be fully realized in the stat box. More on that in a moment. True switch hitter. Just when you think you have him figured out, DeVries recorded 7 of 11 homers from the left side in 2024. Oh, he's advantage lefty. Nope, 2025, before that trade, 7 of his 8 homers came from the right side. He truly could be a 50-50 guy who could play those mind games with opposing managers, really, when they're trying to figure out what pitchers to throw in, and they realize it's a lose-lose situation. Double threat, he's an agile runner on the bases. Future calling is likely a steady middle infielder, as he has seen some work at second base, so not a true 100% bona fide gonna be the shortstop because he has that flexibility, but most certainly can hold it down in the 6th spot. Jamie Arnold's number 2, lefty, ETA 2027 on the mound. Brand new arm, ton of potential here. He's the team's 2025 first-round pick. The A's selected him at 11th overall. Arnold is 21 years old. He's coming off a stellar season at Florida State, and his polished nature with having some college baseball under his belt is why he has a projected debut of 2027. In 2024, he finished 3rd in strikeouts among all of NCAA Division I. The 2 in front of him, Hagen Smith, friend of the program, Chase Burns, friend of the program. 2 names we've brought up a lot as top-tier prospects, Burns ETAing last year. The velocity's been steadily climbing in the last year or so. He took what was a low 90s fastball and turned it into a primary option that can touch 97. The arm slot's a bit funky, but he's got no issues with control, and he's earning a very early Chris Sale comparison for his ability to miss bats, to have a nasty slider, to come from that left side, and deceive hitters in general. Hey everyone, I've got some breaking news in the baseball world. Minor League Minute is partnering up with JustBats.com for the whole month of March. So whether you or someone you care about needs a bat, now is the time to get it. Spring is around the corner, leagues are starting up soon, and if you want a product that's customized, taken care of, and polished by the pros, just keep it simple and go the JustBats.com route. They have knob stickers, customized engravings, and their team can even supply you with re-grip services to get you and your team ready for the season. Head to the link in the description to learn more about JustBats.com today. Gage Jump is number 3. He's a lefty, ETA this year. Supposed to make the jump to the majors in 2026. We'll have to see. SEC arm again. Not just that, but an LSU arm from that 2024 squad. He struck out 101 hitters in 83 innings in his only year as a Tiger. We have a little more on him since he was in the minors last year. In his 31-inning stint with the high Lansing Lugnuts, take this with a grain of salt, still a long way to go, 45 Ks, 5 walks. That is what we like to see, a 9-to-1 K to walk ratio.
That's nuts,
right? Yeah. Quick math. Another lefty who has an arm angle that messes with hitters, has this jerky motion that doesn't allow his opponent to really time him up, and he hides the ball for a long time. You really don't know when it's coming. Kind of comes out like a slingshot. His slider's listed as his best pitch at a 60 grade. Fastball and curveball not far behind, rated at 55. 4-pitch mix in total, and scouts see him turning into a middle-of-the-rotation starter. Going to get your guys' thoughts after number 4 because it's going to tie back to a larger question. Braden Nett, right-handed pitcher, 2026. Might sound like a familiar name as well because Nett was also in the Mason Miller trade with Leo DeVries in the return package. Flamethrower, ability to touch 99 as a projected starter. Fastball's at a 60 grade. But wait, there's way more. He's toying with a 5-pitch mix. So now he has the 99-mile-an-hour fastball at times. He has a 5-pitch arsenal. Has not thrown a single pitch in AAA yet. So what is the pitfall here? He has battled a handful of injuries, so staying on the mound, stacking up those innings year over year to feel confident, to get that final promotion, and then carrying those good habits he's been building and hopefully a more durable reputation into the bigs will be pivotal. Two of the names I just dropped, Vries and Nett, in the return package for Mason Miller. Where are you guys at philosophically? And maybe we have a biased pool. We are a minor league baseball podcast. Sam, we'll start with you. Do you go win it all and just throw the farm at somebody, or make sure you make a point to retain some of your, especially your top prospects, but some of your top talents to build something bigger and, for lack of a better phrase, keep that window open longer?
I think at least for now, that answer is it depends on who you are as a franchise. Are you a franchise that spends a lot? Are you a franchise that can afford to spend a lot? Because there's a difference between the Angels spending and the Dodgers spending.
Yep.
Or are you a franchise that relies on your prospect development, like the A's? And the A's, I mean, for all intents and purposes here, the A's have a pretty solid roster right now in the big leagues too. And it's only going to get better when some of these guys like DeVries and Jump and Nett, and maybe even your next guy too, start to get looks even as early as this year. But to really answer your question, I don't think it's worth, and this is where the prospect hugging debate comes in. I don't know if it's entirely worth it, at least from the perspective of the Mason Miller trade, to throw away like 6 prospects, or however many, it was what, 4 to 6? And I know the Ryan O'Hearn one was a ton of prospects, but to throw away a bunch of prospects and high level ones at that for a relief pitcher. And relief pitchers, especially in today's game, their peaks are amazing, but they fall off pretty quick unless your name's Aroldis Chapman. So I don't know if it's worth it in that context, but from a general standpoint, it's trading for the better stick, trading for the better bat, trading for the better arm. Why wait for these guys to prove themselves to you at the big league level when you can just go and get that guy right now? I personally think, depending on the context, I think it is worth it to throw 3 prospects for a superstar.
Like Sam said, you're the better player. The Padres have consistently shown that they're a team that is willing to make that trade, sign that big deal in order to compete in the arms race that is the National League. So, and that's what AJ Preller has done, and he's done it before leading up to this trade. But it's just a kind of a quick note on Nett. It's like that, video, a meme where it's like, oh, hey mom, we have Mason Miller at home. Well, maybe Braden Nett is Mason 5-pitch mix. He throws 99, maybe. I mean, you'll have to see. But I think it's a tough ask. But yeah, I think it's the Padres made the deal that they wanted to win now. Maybe if Miller's converted to a starter, we think differently if he's throwing more. But yeah, it fills both of the team's philosophies, like Sam was saying.
It's the Seth MacFarlane Family Guy gag. It's the boat versus the mystery box. Like, the boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat. And same thing goes with prospects. Like, Mason Miller is Mason Miller, but Braden Nett, he could end up being Mason Miller, right? So I mean, depending on which side of that trade you're on. I mean, this whole question, really, this whole philosophy, there's no right answer to it, to be quite honest with you. It's entirely contextual based on what you view as the right answer.
And there's no way to answer it even a few months out like we are now without fully having a solid, this was the correct move or this wasn't. Everything in context is a good way to put it, right? Because is a team pulling from a surplus? Like, for example, do the A's feel like they have such a good pitching crop, and so far you're starting to see it, that Mason Miller is replaceable, so they want to go out and get some more bats? Fill out the infield fill out the lineup that had someone like Soderstrom break out. They already have Rooker. And then for the Padres, did they feel like they had a surplus everywhere? Preller threw the whole farm. So there is trading your top prospect, and then there is trading about between a third and 40% of your top 30. And so Preller went with the latter, and that kind of drummed up the conversation that ended up being episode 1. But I think everything in context is an important way to look at it. Are you, if you pull your top prospect out, pulling from a surplus and finding something to add? And then, does the mystery box end up being a boat? Does it end up being a paperclip? we end up seeing from there. Just a compelling argument that, to Jacob's point, we did bring up about 3 months ago, wanted to revisit it as we start to turn the page officially to 2026. Henry Bolte's been brought up on this episode, or on this podcast before, when we were talking about the AAA champions and different players that were really standing out. The Aviators were one of the best one of the best minor league teams in any farm system last year. They had a really successful year. Bolte was at the forefront of it. Outfielder, ETA's 2026. He was on that AAA Aviators team. Just for 34 games, he hit 300 solid. Overall, his batting average has gone up in each and every one of his 4 years in the pros. This is an example of another good farm system, knowing just how long to hold someone before it's time to promote them and when they're ready for that next step in difficulty. As an outfielder, he's got that 65 run attribute. That's going to come in handy. He also stole 44 bags last year, 46 the year before that. The aspect to work on for this big bat is a common one with somebody who has Bolte's profile. His strikeout rate's been around 30%, well above league average. So crazy, honestly, considering he's hitting 268 in his minor league career. That just means for Joe Schmo's soft ground out, Bolte is striking out. But if you're on a team that is a fan of small ball or manufacturing runs, things like that do matter. That is the difference between a 3-1 win and a 1-1 let's go to extras, we just got walked off, if you're striking out and not at least putting the ball in play. Healthy walk rate too, so literally just strikes out more than some guys. Quickly, diamond in the rough, Gavin Turley, number 11 in the system, an outfielder, ETA 2028. Somebody who could have entered the minor league baseball landscape out of high school, but with the Diamondbacks calling his name in the 19th round, he ended up going to Oregon State, school with a handful of powerful recent alums. He was a 4th-round pick this last year after his trip to the Summer Collegiate Cape Cod League. Sam has brought up that's the premier place to go if you're trying to really cut your teeth into what minor league ball could look like, kind of that last step, unless you go into a draft league before that. 65 grade power, 60 grade arm for Turley. Expect him to be more of a Wyatt Langford type, where it's an outfielder who can bring thump to the plate. He's not sprinting all over and super rangy and covering a ton of ground, but he plays his position respectfully. 10,000-foot view of this farm system, you can tell the strengths pitching, right? 3 of the top 5 prospects in the pipeline toe the rubber. So, to Jacob's point, maybe we do have Mason Miller at home. We've got a couple good candidates for it, right? All 3 are projected to debut in the next 2 seasons. So we might find out pretty soon if we have Mason Miller at home or not. Weaknesses, I'm being nitpicky. I guess corner infielders. The athletics crop is healthy. They have the top-end talent in Vries. Keep in mind, though, a lot of shortstops can still be molded and go elsewhere. And Vries, if he really needs to fill a void elsewhere, has the arm to go over to third. He can pick a ball fine. So the closer proximity of playing the hot corner is not exactly an issue. And the Athletics are starting to build out a pretty impressive, powerful lineup. That's usually one of the expectations of your corner infielders, and they already have that. So out of all the times I've had to say the weakness of a farm system, this might have been the toughest. I genuinely think this team makes the playoffs this year, and they get better next year.